challenge this week. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. So we're gonna talk about butlers. As a rule, butlers are generally a personality type that likes to be unobtrusive and discreet because it's part of their profession, so there's not really much writing on the subject. Believe me, I've looked. It also makes sense because they don't want to tarnish that whole mystique of the butler, because it's like if you go to a play and you actually have an idea how the theater works and you know what's going on backstage, it kind of destroys the magic a little. So in that sense, I get it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. The word butler comes from the French boutelier, or boutel, or something, my French is terrible, which comes from the Latin baticula, which also means bottle. Because originally what the butler was somebody who looks after wine, and that was their whole thing. It's gotten a little bit out of hand from there. But that's not where the modern day butler came from. A couple thousand years ago, like in the Dark Ages and stuff, when people kept animals, the nobles had these people called stewards, and the steward's job was to look after the nobleman's animals. And then one day the nobleman realized, hey, my animals are being looked after better than I am. So they dragged the steward in the house, kicking and screaming, and they called him the house steward. Original, yes? If you don't believe me, there's an example of this in Dragon's Reach in Skyrim. Yes, I am a gargantuan nerd, thank you. For a long time, the butler was just the guy who worked under the house steward and looked after the wine cellar and distributed wine and all that. It's just like anything to do with wine. But through the ages, they have dueled, and the butler has decapitated the house steward and absorbed his power. There can be only one! And that is essentially how the butler came to be the butler we know today. Sort of, very briefly, in a very, very small nutshell. Something I should probably note here is that the butler stereotype that we accept as like the fictitious butler in all of our culture actually came from Jeeves, who is not actually a butler but a valet. But he inspired butler characters such as Alfred Pennyworth from Batman. So essentially Batman should be something like this. I say, Jeeves. Yes, sir. The superhero business sounds bloody fantastic. Yes, you know, I believe I'm going to go out and strike fear to the hearts of Gotham's criminal underground this night. I couldn't advise it, sir. Amid the more obvious of reasons, you are expected at your Aunt Agatha's for luncheon this afternoon. Oh. Oh well, never mind. Fetch me a brandy and soda, will you? Seems legit. So Bash, for your challenge this week, do a barrel roll! I don't know what that implies, I'll leave that open to your interpretation. So do a barrel roll and I'll see you next week. And now for something completely different. Footage of my geriatric dog. Enjoy.
Oh, JD. I have it now. Like, Good. There you go. Go get it! Really?